Hey everyone, welcome back to the Raw Epics channel. My name's Wilson, and over here is a new bike. Let's check it out. We are on a circuit breaker period right now, so I should be wearing my mask, but there's nobody else out here, so I just like to get a share with you guys in the little privacy of this this enclosed area up here, where it's quiet. It's closed off. Obviously, you can see this fitness area has been cordoned off, and yeah, I had a bit of a day off from riding, so I'm here to tell you about the bike instead and do a bit of a bike check. If you guys want to find out how this bike actually rides, please go ahead and check out the link in the description below or in the information tab that should be popping up in the top right hand side of the screen right about now. Before I get started, I would like to give a big shout out to Trail Plus. Anthony and Irvin at Trail Plus, which is a bicycle maintenance and service center, have been instrumental in getting this bike assembled and ready to roll. So if you are still within the circuit breaker period and you're on lockdown, please be assured that you can actually send your bike to Trail Plus and get it sorted out for essential repairs. They are an essential service. I do feel strongly that bikes are a great way to get around, and you know, being able to maintain them should be considered an essential service. So Trail Plus, the one place to go for all your bicycle maintenance and service needs. Alright, so let's get on to the bike check. The frame set of this bike is actually a medium-sized frame from Yeti Cycles. This is the SB150. It's meant for enduro racing. It's a platform that is built around competition in mind. There's two variants of the frame. So this either comes in the Carbon series or the Turk series. The Turk series comes about 250 grams lighter for the same size frame, with the same amount of strength and performance. What we have over here is 150 mils of rear travel, and it's paired up with a 170 mil fork up the front. We removed the original Fox Float X2 and I replaced it with DVO Topaz T3 Air. The clearance between the piggyback and the frame is actually quite small, but there's no danger over here. I chose the DVO Topaz for simplicity's sake, you know, having it over there and basically having less things to worry about for tuning purposes. So while we're on the topic of suspension, I not only have DVO on the back but also have DVO on the front. So I have an Onyx single crown fork on the front. This fork is really tunable. I really enjoy riding this. It has variable travel from 160 to 180 mils. So I've set it at 170, which is the recommended front travel for this particular frame set. Many things I like about the fork. It's really tunable. There's high speed and low speed compression at the top here. Rebounds at the bottom over here. There's a particular adjustment called OTT, which allows me to tune the amount of initial travel. So the first 1.5 inches of travel, you can really get that as plush as possible or as firm as possible, depending, without affecting the mid and end stroke of the fork. One other interesting thing is that it has air release valves on each leg. So this is a feature that is commonly seen only in downhill forks, but this feature is slowly making its way into other long travel trail and enduro forks, including this Onyx. It comes with its own proprietary mud guard, so I have that screwed on down here. I have a little anti-enduro club sticker pasted on that one. I enjoy using the Maxxis Minion DHFs. This particular one over here is a 2.5 width. The compound I've chosen for the front is the Max Grip compound. So it's a bit softer, especially on the side knobs. I really enjoy the performance of that. I also have a DHF on the rear. So some people might be asking why I didn't choose a different tire on the rear, for example like a DHR or an Aggressor. The truth is that I really much prefer the DHF tread pattern. It works really well as a front tire, but I'm seeing the benefits as a rear tire as well. For the rear tire, I have it at 2.3 width instead of 2.5. so slightly narrower. Different compound, so while it's max grip in the front, I have a max terror compound out the back. And I also have it as a double down casing, which is a heavier casing version of the tire. So double down is somewhere between the EXO casing for trail use and the downhill casing for downhill bike tires. So it's kind of in between, which makes it perfect as a rear tire for enduro riding. Inside the tire, we actually have rim pack inserts. So these are tire inserts which I got from rim pack. These are the Pro version. You can't really see them right now. But rim pack comes in two versions, the original as well as the Pro. So the Pro comes with the standard density foam as well as an outer layer of higher density foam, which is quite interesting because this higher density foam is one that actually absorbs most of the impact and it actually stiffens upon impact. So it's a bit heavier than the standard model, but I think for something that is going to be used as an enduro bike, it's a perfect usage. So I have rim pack Pro inserts on the front wheel as well as the back wheel. Speaking of wheels, we can't go past the fact that I am actually riding VR1 composites rims. So these rims, front and back, are VR1 unions. So these are 30mm internal width. The unions are touted as VR1 composites enduro rims. These are 32-hole rims. And these have been fitted to Onyx Racing Products Vespa hubs, 32-hole. The reason why I chose to go with Onyx hubs, especially for the rear, is because they run really silent. So silent hubs are really great for filming. You can just hear the trail and it's beautiful. The other good thing about having a silent hub is that you can actually pick up other funny noises that are coming from your bike. So there could be other mechanical problem which would otherwise have been masked by the sound of a noisy hub. So front and back wheel have been built up at Trail Plus as well. Irvin was the one who took care of that. So thanks very much to Irvin from Trail Plus. The wheel set runs really great, really compliant, and yet with decent amount of stiffness for not a lot of weight. I feel that running rims which are made of carbon pose no big disadvantages, with a lot of advantages. My previous bike also had VR1 composites carbon rims, and touch wood, not a single spoke has broken on that wheel set, which is 2.5 years running. So with any luck, this wheel set will hold true as well. Another product from VR1 is actually the handlebars. So the handlebars and stem come as a package from VR1. It's of course called DA package. It comes with a standard 800mm width. I had the handlebars chopped down to 750mm. The handlebars have a positive 20mm rise, which is great. I don't need a handlebar which is raised up too much. The stem itself is a 0-degree stem. So the stem that comes with the bar is at a 45mm length. I think this combo is just perfect. I don't need it to be too reachy. So 50mm or longer would probably be a bit too reachy for me. So I have the stem slammed all the way down to the headset, which is a Chris King drop set. This one matches the bike particularly well. It comes in a matte black color. So you can see that VR1 Composites didn't put any decals on the stem or the handlebar. So it becomes a real conversation starter when people ask which company actually makes this particular stem and bar combo that you can see on this bike. I can't go further without talking about the fantastic Yeti knuckle duster grips. These are hands down the best grips I've ever used. You can use them with or without gloves. They have very positive grips. So they have a combination of a rib as well as a waffle pattern on them with a single clamp. So while they are lightweight, they are also very long lasting, and they provide positive grip all the way until the end of its life. So even as it wears down, you know, it still provides heaps of positive control and feel of the handlebars. Controls, what can I say? I'm using the new Shimano XTR brakes. So these brakes are the trail version, so you can see the little adjustment screws up here. Okay, so that allows us to play with the reach of the brakes. I kind of have the angle of the brakes like 45 degrees at the moment, so not too much down. I'm trying to have a little bit more of a positive rise. I'm trying to play with having a bit more bend in the wrist when I'm riding my bike. So we'll see how that works out. The shifter is XTR as well. I really believe that having the best shifter your money can buy goes a long way. More so than having a good chain or good cassette or even a good rear derailleur. Okay, speaking of which, the rear derailleur, which we can look over here, I've gone with an XT rear derailleur as well as an XT cassette. I didn't want to splurge on an XTR cassette or derailleur because I go through on average one derailleur per year, so it doesn't make economic sense to have too expensive a derailleur. As for the cassette, I've been recommended that this is actually a bit more durable than the XTR, so that's great, you know, with a bike that's possibly going to be high mileage. I think it makes more economic sense again. Let's go back to the brakes before I move on further. The brakes are XTR brakes, so I have 4-pot brakes front and rear. The front brake rotor is a 203mm XTR rotor. This has the ice stack stuff on it, so you can see the vents as well as the cooling fins. These are center lock, so they go well with the Onyx hub, which is a center lock hub as well. On the rear, I have a 180mm rotor. I'm not sure I want to size up to 203mm rotor yet. I'm happy with having the bigger rotor in the front now, but that may be subject to change. For now, I'm stopping the bike just fine, and we'll leave it at that. I'm using a Physic Gobi saddle. So this one has a combination of a carbon shell as well as titanium rails. It's not the lightest saddle in the Physic lineup, but I kind of like this saddle. I use the Gobi for a very long time, since way back in the days of when I was doing a triathlon and a lot of road cycling. It's been a very comfortable saddle. You know, even as a triathlon or road saddle, I had no issues with it. So now coming back to mountain biking and putting it up there, you know, I feel that this is really the one which is the one saddle shape which has seen me through quite a lot of riding. So I'm happy to put this on this bike. You know, where this bike may not only be called upon to do like steep downhill enduro runs, but also potentially long epic rides where I might be having my butt in the saddle for a really long time. So the saddle is attached to a PNW Components dropper seat post. I'm trying the PNW seat post for the first time. This is a bachelor model, so it comes with 150mm of travel. I also have the loam lever, so it comes in the matching grey color, which goes very well with the bike. So far I'm really happy with the ergonomics of the lever. I think it's really good as a cable actuated lever. No problems there. It responds really well to the input, and it comes up fairly fast. But let's move a little bit further back down. You can actually see the bottle cage. Now this is one of the things which I really enjoy having on this bike. Making sure that I can have a drink without having to wear a hip pack or a backpack now. So for short rides like 2 hours or less, I'm definitely taking just the water bottle along, you know, which is perfect. So this is a Lezine side load secure bottle cage. This one is a plastic version. I think it's pretty durable, it's pretty handy. The bottle comes in and out handily. I haven't lost a water bottle yet, so it's perfect. Let's move further down. You can see I have an XTR crankset over here. This is a 34 tooth. Okay, so the chain ring is protected by our 1UP Components chain guide and bash guard. Alright, so that has served me really well. I really like the adjustability of the 1UP top guide especially, so you can really fine tune the adjustments without having to worry about it too much after that. Coming back to the crankset, the crank arm length is 170mm. There's a little boot on the end of the crank arm over there. I have Chromac contact pedals. Now the Chromac contact pedals are the one part from my old bike which I've transferred over to this bike. You know, I've really fallen in love with the pedals. They've been very durable. I only recently changed the pedal rebuild kit, which is available from Trail Plus. They are a distributor and retailer of Chromac products here, and I was really happy to be able to give my pedals a new lease of life. You know, these are originally black in color, but you can see they're almost silver all the way through on the edges here. But very reliable, very little play in them, and they've been going strong for coming to 2 years now. So really happy with these pedals. The chain is XTR. As I mentioned, the cassette is XT. I have a 1051 range on the back. So the 1051 range on the back is a really wide range for a trail speed cassette. Okay, wider than SRAM's 1050 for their Eagle range. And this wide range coupled with the 34 tooth on the front chain ring allows me, I think, a good mix. You know, this one actually has a slightly better climbing gear ratio for the granny gear than my previous bike. You know, even taking into account like the wheel size and the crank arm length and so on and so forth. I think this bike might actually be a better climber than my previous bike, so to speak. One thing which is very special, I think some of you die-hard Yeti fans are going to give me a lot of shit for this, but I actually installed Santa Cruz rib chainstay protector on the chainstay of the bike. Alright, you can see the Santa Cruz logo over here. I make no apologies for that. I'm trying out something special here. Anthony at Trail Plus was very obliging. He found a way to kind of hack this onto the bike here. You know, even putting on some cable ties to reinforce it to make sure that it doesn't fall off. So I'm really very thankful that this has managed to work out well. I've taken this for a couple of rides. The bike is really silent, you know, especially with this in place. You know, no complaints over there. So a couple of other things which are interesting. You might want to take note that I actually have frame protection all over the bike. Okay, so the key points to note is that I have frame protection on the down tube. So the down tube actually has 3 layers. So apart from the original Invisi frame, which was put on day 1 when the bike first came into the shop, there's also a layer of shelter tape. Now shelter is actually maybe about 1.5–2 millimeters thick. It's kind of a bit spongy, and it's made by Effetto Mariposa. Okay, this stuff down here is important because it's going to shield the bike from any like rock strikes and so on and so forth. I would say it's as good as the rubber protector which you see further down. Okay, so that's on the upper part of the down tube over here, and on top of the shelter I also have a layer of AMS, all mountain style frame protection. Okay, so you can see another narrow strip just through here. This one is really good. With 3 layers of protection on the down tube, this bike has no worries taking care of multiple runs on big shuttle days where you can expect the down tube to be rubbed up against the back of a truck or, you know, pads and so on and so forth. So AMS, I actually bought quite a fair bit of AMS to actually stick not only on the down tube but also on the exposed parts of the fork over here. You see where it sticks out here on the crown, down over there. So there's plenty of AMS frame protection on the top tube. There's AMS frame protection on the cranks as well, so to prevent that rub there, cosmetic rub. And the other place which AMS comes in really handy is also the chain stay and the seat stay on the rear triangle. Shuttling a lot, you know, potentially going to the bike park and having the bike endure a lot of transport, a lot of travel overseas, you can expect the chain stays and the seat stays to come up against a lot of scuffing and a lot of abuse, you know, and potentially you want to avoid like paint chips, you know, and dings and so on. So having the AMS frame protection in the correct spots, especially on the chain stay and seat stay, makes it really that much more protected. So this is a granite design stash tool, multi-tool. This particular one hides in the steerer tube of the bike without having to actually tap or do any modifications to the steerer tube. You can actually get it installed. It comes with a little bung at the bottom as well, so this serves two purposes. It protects the tool from getting wet, and it protects any mud or any other debris from actually getting into the top tube, or rather the steerer tube from the bottom up as it gets splashed from the front wheel. So really clever design. I really enjoy using this. These has all the basic trappings that you might need. Alright, the only thing that is missing is probably the 8mm Allen wrench. Okay, but this one has Allen wrenches from sizes 6 all the way to 2. You know, as well as a T25 Torx star-shaped wrench. So in addition to that, they also has a valve core remover and spoke keys over here. So this comes in a very compact package, which I can just plop into the top of my steerer. So another cool thing in terms of tools that you can find on this bike, apart from the stash tool from Granite Design, are these. So these actually stash in other parts of the bike, the ends of the handlebars. So what I do is I simply unscrew the grips, and what you can find is actually a tire plug kit. Okay, so the tire plug kit is really cool. So it comes with tire plugs as well as a little installer over there, allow you to punch through any holes, as well as a chain breaker. So the chain breaker is another interesting tool. Both of them fit on either side, the left and the right, using a 3mm Allen wrench to remove the bars, rather the grips. I can actually hide these inside the bars, so not much added weight. So these are really, really cool. So in other terms of repairs, coming back to this bit of tape over here, you never know when you're going to need tape. So this is again Gorilla tape. I have maybe about 4 and 4.5 meters wrapped around the seat post over there. So I don't intend to move the seat post much anyway. So there it is. Hopefully, you know, when the time comes, somebody or myself, I might need the tape to effect some repairs. You know, it could be mending a bike, mending a component, mending somebody's shoes or tent perhaps. Who knows? But basically, this bike is built for whatever comes its way. There's my bike check. I hope you enjoyed going through the different parts of the bike with me. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section down below. If you like what you see, please give this a like, subscribe to my channel please, and hit the notification button. It would mean the world to me if you could. So I'm looking forward to ride this bike much more now, even in the midst of the current lockdown phase of the coronavirus pandemic. I hope you guys do as I do, and always go out safely. Exercise caution when you're going out. Make sure you're always wearing a mask if you are going out, especially when you're interacting with other people. Choose your ride safely. Don't take unnecessary risks. I'll certainly be taking it easy on this bike as I get more and more used to it. And my shout out to my friends in the Enduro Club. Hope to see you guys out there training, but in a distance of course, and safely. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Get out of here.